Today on Public Eye News, a new candidate jumps into the race for Michigan's 109th House District. And later, the director of MDARD testifies on Capitol Hill.
Tim Knapp will have your weather forecast for the next couple of days. Later, I will bring you today's sports breakdown. I'm Emma Mraz.
And I'm Charlie Anderson, and this is Public Eye News. Negaunee physician's assistant Anna Aho has announced her campaign for House Representative in District 109 against Republican Carl Bonak. A former healthcare worker at the now closed Marquette Planned Parenthood, Aho is running on a platform of restoring the district's access to healthcare, gathering funding for local schools, and maintaining a sturdy budget for law enforcement. This advocacy is in direct opposition to current Michigan House Representative Carl Bonak. Bonak, elected in January of this year, recently voted to cut the funding for rural healthcare, the Michigan State Police, clean water and air, and family planning initiatives. These decisions fall in line with the current Trump administration, which has founded its platform on drastically cutting funding to public service budgets across America. State Representative Francesca Hong has thrown her hat into the ring in the 2026 Wisconsin gubernatorial election. The Democrat promises to be a wild card in her party's primary race. She is going up against Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, and State Senator Kelda Roys. On the Republican side, Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman and business owner Bill Berrien have launched their own bids. This important race is coming on the heels of Governor Tony Evers' retirement. Hong is highly critical of President Donald Trump and a member of the Wisconsin House's Socialist Caucus. The Democratic primary is in 11 months, with the general election to follow next November.
A Michigan judge is potentially pausing the funding of 2 baseball stadiums because an advocacy group believes it is against the Michigan Constitution. Judge Brock Swartzel is going to rule a motion by the end of the year. The Lansing Lugnuts asked for $2.5 million to fund a baseball stadium and another stadium in Utica. The Mackinac Center argues that this approval for funding goes against the Michigan Constitution. The center is stating that the grant must be passed by both the House and Senate. If the center succeeds, then millions of dollars could be challenged that have already been dispersed across a variety of projects. So far, $200,000 has been used from this proposed grant. The Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, or MDARD, awarded over $1.8 million in grants to Michigan producers, processors, and community organizations. This money will be used to make repairs and improvements to their farms and their transportation services. It is a part of a grant system designed to improve regional food chains and support traditionally underdeserved businesses across the state. A few farms in northern Michigan that were awarded recently include Bear Creek Organics LLC and DeBacker Family Dairy LLC. By the Light of Day in Traverse City also received funds. ABC has hit pause on Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. The late night show was suspended after Kimmel made comments during his Monday night monologue about the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk. CBS's Jared Hill has the details.
Jimmy Kimmel seen leaving his studio Wednesday after ABC put Jimmy Kimmel Live on hold indefinitely. Monday, the late-night host made this comment about the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
In response, Chairman of the Federal Communications Commission Brendan Carr, a Trump appointee, said this about broadcast networks while on a conservative podcast.
And they have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
Soon after, local broadcast groups Sinclair and Nexstar announced they'd preempt Kimmel. Then ABC announced it would pull the host indefinitely. On social media, President Trump called the move great news for America. The White House has doubled down on the condemnation of certain commentary on Charlie Kirk.
When you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer.
Nico Perino is with FIRE, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression.
When you have a government official coming in and saying that there are certain ideas that cannot be expressed, you start undermining the legal, not to mention the cultural values that undergird this country.
ABC has not explained its decision. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now don't touch that dial. We will be right back with your sports and statewide news after this break.
From ladybird deeds to traffic violations, the law can be confusing. WNMU TV is here to help. Local lawyers.
That's not even admissible in court.
Answering your questions.
Caller from Houghton's asking, this caller from Escanaba says, caller from Negaunee asked.
So that's a super complicated question, and here's why.
If you say no and you continue to stick to your no, that gives your lawyer something to work with.
Ask the Lawyers, Thursday at 8 p.m.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Emma Moratz here to deliver your Thursday sports breakdown. Starting on the baseball field, the Cleveland Guardians and Detroit Tigers faced off to plan their series, where the Guardians kept their winning streak alive. This is the Guardians' 6th straight win. The Tigers now lead the AL Central by 4.5 games. Guardians pitcher Gavin Williams struck out 9 batters in 5 innings. Williams has not let a Tigers batter score a run in his 20 times at the plate since 2024. Detroit pitcher Jack Flaherty only gave up 1 run on 3 hits. The game is currently underway with the score being 3-1 Guardians. The Tigers face off against the Atlanta Braves at home at 6:40 p.m. tomorrow night. History was made in Tokyo, where the track and field world championships are taking place. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone became the first woman in over 40 years to break 48 seconds in the 400 meters. Her final time was 47:78. The record set in 1985 by Marita Koch of Germany had a record time of 47:60. In 2021, McLaughlin-Levrone set her second world record in the hurdles during the Tokyo Olympics. This isn't her first record that Sydney has broken, with her breaking the hurdles world record over 6 times, with her last time being the 2024 Summer Olympics. Finishing off on the soccer field, the NMU women's soccer team hits the road to start their GLIAC season against Roosevelt and Parkside. The team, under head coach Aaron Egolf, is still looking for their first win of the season, with their current record being 0-1-3. The team has a strong defense led by goalie Jillian Thompson, a recent GLIAC Defensive Player of the Week. The offensive player to watch is Hannah Castamo, who has been a leader in shots at goal. The team faces off against Roosevelt in Chicago on Friday, September 19th, with kickoff starting at 2 p.m. They then travel to Kenosha to face off against Parkside on September 21st at 1 p.m. That's all I have for sports. Now back to the news desk.
Thank you so much for that update, Emma. The director of the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, or MDARD, testified before the U.S. House Committee on Agriculture this Tuesday to discuss the upcoming expiration of the U.S. Farm Bill. This bill contains the plans for all agriculture funding in the U.S., but last year's Farm Bill expires on September 30th, so discussions are underway. Boring advocated for Michigan's focus on specialty crops, which are the heart of Michigan's $126 billion food and agriculture industry. The current MDARD objectives are climate resiliency and regenerative agriculture, diversity in agriculture production, and economic prosperity. Boring says support for these and other programs will be critical to help sustain family farms. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel has joined a coalition of state attorneys general opposing President Trump's deployment of the National Guard in Washington, D.C. Nessel filed an amicus brief in support of D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwalb, who is challenging the deployment in court. Schwalb, Nessel, and the other attorneys general of the coalition argue the deployment is unlawful. They say the use of military personnel for civilian law enforcement goes against the balance of civil and military authority outlined in the U.S. Constitution. They also argue that states need the National Guard to deal with local crises like natural disasters, with the recent wildfires in California being cited as a notable example. The coalition is urging the District Court for the District of Columbia to issue an injunction against the deployment. President Trump bid farewell to King Charles this morning after receiving the royal treatment at a lavish welcoming ceremony and state dinner yesterday. Next, he sits down with UK Prime Minister for high-level talks on economic cooperation between the two nations. The two leaders are expected to hold a public news conference later today. CBS News' Jared Hill has more on the president's UK trip from New York.
Following Wednesday's royal welcome filled with pageantry and praise at Windsor Castle,
the bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal.
Today, President Trump is trading pomp for policy. After leaving King Charles and Queen Camilla, he headed to the country home of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. There, high-level meetings with trade expected to top the agenda.
I believe we're the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Already, the two countries have announced a tech partnership on AI and emerging technologies, with U.S. CEOs from companies like Apple, OpenAI, and NVIDIA there to pledge billions of dollars in investment. The two countries say that deal will bring thousands of jobs to the U.S. and the U.K.
America is our special ally.
While some praise outside castle walls,
We love Trump.
crowds protested President Trump's visit.
I dislike everything that Trump and his administration represent just around the globe.
The pushback fueled in part by President Trump's ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his handling of the war in Gaza. The conflict in the Middle East and Russia's war in Ukraine are also expected to come up during today's talks between the president and prime minister. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Tim Knapp will be right back.
Tune in to the heartbeat of the
Weather after this short break.
Tune in to the heartbeat of the Upper Peninsula. At Public Radio 90, we're more than just a frequency on your dial. We're your trusted home for national public radio. Let our diverse blend of music be the soundtrack to your day. Public Radio 90, where community comes alive. Catch Kurt Hosworth Monday through Friday from 9:30 to noon with Class Eclectic and Saturday afternoons with The Shuffle.
I'm Kurt Hosworth, your host, and this is a program of soothing and adventurous classical music.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Tim Knapp with your weather breakdown. Starting off on campus, it is a gloomy day. Not many students out there, and the weather's going to look the same way. Here on the map, we're starting off in Houghton, 65 degrees and cloudy. Over in Ironwood, you have partly sunny conditions, 70 degrees. Iron Mountain is 67 degrees and cloudy. And in Menominee, it is 67 degrees and partly sunny. Moving over to the other side of the map, in Sault Ste. Marie, it is sunny and 71 degrees. That's where I want to be. In Manistique, it is 73 degrees and partly cloudy. And in Marquette, it is 61 degrees and cloudy. Escanaba, 68 degrees and cloudy. Current conditions, cloudy, high of 61 degrees, and winds out of the northeast at 12 miles an hour. Our barometric pressure is 30.16 and rising. Tonight, you are looking at cloudy conditions with a low of 54 degrees, winds out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour, and the moon phase is a waning crescent. Tomorrow, you are looking at cloudy conditions yet again, high of 59 and a low of 56, and winds out of the east at 10 miles an hour. And looking ahead, Sunday, it is going to be rainy, a high of 68 degrees and a low of 59. Monday, a high of 68 and a low of 60, also rainy. And Tuesday, a high of 66 and a low of 59, yet again, rainy. Looks like summer's done for us. But now back to the desk for some more news.
Thank you for that weather, Tim. How do you feel about that track and field record that was just broken?
Sounds really great. I'm really proud of that person. I think that's a really interesting record to break.
I definitely feel like it is, especially since it's been over 40 years.
Yeah. I've heard that you've got a couple more stories for us.
Oh, I do. There's going to be a ranger-led walk in Lakeview Cemetery. This program will take about 2 hours to complete, and pets are not permitted. Tour spots are limited to preserve the ground of the cemetery. The first walk is going to be held on September 20th at 4 p.m., with another walk scheduled for October 4th at 4 p.m. as well. And there's going to be a free event for children at the Escanaba Public Library. The event is going to feature puppets, stories, and social time. This event is for children ages 0 to 8, with the event happening September 20th at 10:30 a.m.
Man, I just love those library events.
I love how there's so many library events that are going on, especially for children of all ages.
Yeah, I'm very happy that so many people are embracing the library as a community space. I went over and got my first library card the other day, and I haven't been happier.
I got mine when I was really young. And that's all we have for today.
I'm Charlie Anderson.
And I'm Emma Maratz.
And this was Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.